Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is Starlight Beacon Transmissions, episode 59. Yes, we have done 59 of these things already. And this is our big, big show. This is our celebration 3-day recap show because we still have one more day of celebration left. And we're going to be talking about Obi-Wan. So we're going to try to get through all of the celebration news so that way we can get you on to our thoughts on the Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere. My name is Eric Mitchell. I am your host. Lavender is not with us this evening. She is at a wedding. So, Lavender, if you are watching, we hope that you have fun and we hope that you're having a great time and incorporating as much Star Wars as you possibly can into this wedding. Excuse me one Excuse me, sorry. Still getting over a cold, so I might be coughing every once in a while. Anyway, joining me tonight, I have an amazing panel. Welcoming back Aubrey Rosalie, cosplayer, awesome friend of the show. And then Luna will be with us in a little bit. Yes, Luna is coming back to the show, the long awaited return. And joining me, he's back after a long hiatus. It's Mr. Joey McDermott.
It's been a minute. Thanks for having me back, Eric.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you for being here. And he's back again. He is the Sith Lord Roy Kent himself. It's John Byram. John, how are you?
I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere, Eric.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. A lot to cover tonight. We have a lot going on. It's great to have you all with us this evening, and I can't wait to get into this. So, we're going to just go through a couple of quick announcements, and then we're going to dive right into the news here. So, our announcements, real quick. No show next week due to my wife and I are going to be attending AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. So, we
Pretty
will
awesome.
not, yeah. Um, we will not have a live show, but we're going to get you some content from the show floor as well as from the just from the show in general. So stay tuned to social media for that. Also, for June, we are shooting for a June 13th premiere date for our RPG show. This is the long awaited and highly anticipated Law and Order Star Wars that we are doing, which John and Joey are part of. Can't
Yeah, I
wait
just
for
found
that.
out about that date right now.
Sorry, it was in our chat.
Yeah, well, ping me. I don't know.
Okay. Sorry. But we may change that date too, so who knows. But we are shooting for a mid-June premiere for that. So, anybody have any other announcements before we get into the fun here? No? All right.
I think that's it. So, as far as your awesome con stuff, are
Mm-hmm.
people going to be tuned into your social media, or will you be doing live streams? Where's going to be the best place to find all
Yeah,
that?
so we're gonna do some live streams here in the Discord as well as on social media. So we're gonna be on Instagram and Twitter as well. You can find us on Instagram at SB Transmissions, and you can find us on Twitter at SB Transmissions. And here comes Luna for the evening. So yes, you can find us there and we're going to try to get you as much coverage from the show floor as possible. We are not expecting any Star Wars news to come out of AwesomeCon. Um, Giancarlo Esposito might talk about The Mandalorian season 3 a little bit during his panel, but other than that, that's about it. And Luna's here. Luna, welcome back to the show.
My apologies, my computer didn't want to start.
It's all good. You're here now, and that's what matters. Okay, so let's dive into the craziness that was Celebration. So, Celebration kicked things off Thursday with the Lucasfilm Spotlight panel, which was not streamed at all, which I'm going to get into my frustration with that here in a little bit. What's that? I know they can't give away everything for free. That's correct. But with this panel, we did get a look at the upcoming Cassian Andor series. This is the Rogue One prequel series. This is a 2-season series that we've been told. It has been confirmed. Each season will be 12 episodes long, and season 1 will take place 5 years before Rogue One, with season 2 bringing us into Rogue One. Let's start. I'm going to start with Aubrey, then we're going to go to Luna, then Joey, then John here. Your thoughts on the Andor teaser trailer and this news? Aubrey, go ahead.
Yeah, it was really exciting. You know, I'm really excited to see Cassian again, and I'm kind of hoping we get to see like K2SO and maybe how he like got him and ran into him and stuff. And I think it'll be cool to see the more political side of things. And I'm hoping we get to see Leia, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing Leia in a Star Wars show.
Can't imagine it.
Can't imagine it.
No. Luna, go ahead. Your thoughts on Andor.
So, yeah, I kind of have the same take. I really liked, this feels a lot like the sort of political drama that the prequels were, especially The Phantom Menace. And I'm a really big fan of that. So, I'm really excited. I loved Rogue One. It was one of my, for a while, it was my favorite Star Wars movie. I don't know if it is anymore, but it's up there. And this is just, I'm super excited for it. So, and the teaser looks great. I don't really have anything to add particularly. I'm super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Joey, your thoughts on Andor?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rogue One. I think that story was great as a standalone. It feels like Andor's just going to completely add on to that, give us a little bit more backstory around it. But also the sound design in that trailer was absolutely phenomenal with the drumming.
Yes, absolutely. John, go ahead. Bring us home on this one.
Yeah, Rogue One by far, controversial take, the best Disney version of Star Wars movie that they've put out. My personal opinion, I know there's some other people that think otherwise, and that's completely cool. But Rogue One, I think, was the cream of the crop, and I think Andor playing right into Rogue One, if they do it right, is going to really, I think, expand the fandom quite a bit.
I totally agree with all of these takes here. This is going to be the sleeper hit on Disney Plus, I think. This is going to be the one that everybody's talking about. Of course, we're all talking about Obi-Wan right now, but I really think Andor is going to be the one that just like is talked about a lot longer than these other ones, especially with there being a 12 episode first season and 12 episode second season. And Cassian Andor is actually my favorite character in Rogue One, so it's just awesome to explore this character. Aubrey, you talked about K2SO. He is
Yeah.
confirmed for season 2.
Really?
Let's go.
Yes, they did confirm him for season 2. He will not be in season 1, which does make sense,
Yeah.
but he is confirmed for season 2. So, you know, shout out for that. And I love Diego Luna and how passionate he is about this project.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how great Mon Mothma looks in this trailer too?
Yeah.
When I saw, and
Yeah.
when I saw her like in the Senate building, I was like, oh
Mhm.
man,
Yeah.
it
Her
was so
outfit?
cool to see that area again.
Yeah. And seeing Coruscant, it just looks
Yeah.
so beautiful. And super excited for this political spy thriller set in Star Wars. And I think this is
So good.
this is something that we need, and I think that this is just going to hit home hard. All right, so let's move on here. I did say Lucasfilm reveals the trailer for the Willow series. This was Joey's favorite bit of Star Wars Celebration Live, covering the first 45 minutes of the live stream. We don't. I mean, it's Willow. It's going to be fun, I guess, and that's all that we're going to say about this.
I don't even know what Willow is.
A lot of people
I'm
don't.
with you.
I mean,
Never
it just
heard of
felt
that
so
before.
out of place. Like
It
I
does.
literally stepped away during that when we were in that watch party, Eric. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why of all places. I mean, I guess there's like a connection, Disney, LucasArts, whatever. but it didn't feel like it needed to be at Celebration.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It was just. Go ahead, Aubrey.
Oh, I was gonna say I feel like they showed it like 10 times too.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did.
I was like, yeah.
Every
And they
time.
did like 2 or 3 interviews too, didn't they?
Yeah.
For it?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Every time they cut to commercial, they showed the freaking Willow teaser, and I was like, why wouldn't you show Andor? Like during
They
all
really
of these.
Lucasfilm really wants one other IP, I guess.
Well, I mean, it was really funny because Joey messages me like while we're doing the watch party, and Joey's like, "Yeah, I gotta send some emails. I'll be back. Just let me know when they're talking Star Wars again." Like, yeah. Um, Disney's probably like, well, these guys will never be invited to a celebration while talking bad about this IP. Um, then we do have news about the Mandalorian season 3. Season 3 will premiere in February of 2023, and part of it is going to take place on Mandalore. We also do have some news on Ahsoka. It is going to premiere in 2023 as well. Some of the cast of Ahsoka is at Celebration right now. Sabine is confirmed for the show. And real quick, some of you may have seen a cryptic tweet from Mina Masood saying congratulations to everybody involved in the Ahsoka show, in which a lot of people have then responded, hey, that's a great way to sneak past your NDA that you signed with Lucasfilm. Um, I have a feeling, we all have a feeling he's going to play Ezra in the Ahsoka show. What are the chances that he does? Is he just going to swerve us here by just like constantly teasing us and then not show up as Ezra in the Ahsoka show, or like what are we thinking here?
A long con. I like it.
The long con.
Yeah, it would be interesting. So we do have information on that. Then John Williams came out and played the Obi-Wan theme, which is now available on Spotify. If you have not listened to that theme, it is incredible.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so good. And then he decided to play the Raiders of the Lost Ark March because then they decided to close with Indiana Jones 5. And Harrison Ford came out on stage um, and said that that song follows him wherever he goes. And the last time he had a colonoscopy, they were playing that song in the operating room. His
Good.
words, not mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
So
Oh.
Harrison Ford, you can just tell, just doesn't want to do this anymore.
They must have paid him a lot of money to be there.
Oh, I have a feeling that they did. Harrison's like, how much did you make for this convention? I want half.
Jesus.
For his 30 seconds on the stage.
Yeah, for 30 seconds on the stage.
And,
But
and a colonoscopy story.
yeah,
Hey.
exactly. But it's so cool to see John Williams like conducting this theme and still at the age of,
Mhm.
I believe he's 90 now,
Yeah.
just doing this. It's incredible. The guy is the greatest composer of all time and a greatest film composer of all time, I should say.
Good recovery.
Thank you. So that was the Lucasfilm studio panel here. Any thoughts on this besides Andor, and any other thoughts here, Aubrey, on Lucasfilm?
I'm excited to see Babu Frick again.
Hey.
That's
That
my
is
favorite
true.
character. He showed up in the little trailer. Yeah, that's most exciting thing for me.
There are definitely some Anzellans in that trailer. Apparently,
So go ahead.
there's also a I think there's an Ahsoka trailer floating around.
Yeah, I saw
There
it.
is.
I have
Don't tell
intentionally
Disney.
not watched the Obi-Wan, not the Obi-Wan, the Ahsoka trailer or the Mandalorian season 3 trailers that have been floating
Really?
around from
Yeah.
cam rips.
Yeah, I want them to just showcase it at some point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just want to be surprised with what I see. Yes, Babu Frick is going to be in The Mandalorian season 3. My wife just gave me a look, like she's
My
like,
man.
"Oh my god!" Like this guy's back.
My
Um,
man.
Joey, your thoughts on the Lucasfilm Studio showcase?
I was a huge fan of them showing Willow and Indiana Jones. Big dubs there.
Big
No, I mean,
dubs
overall, I think it was
there.
really good. For me, the Andor trailer definitely stole the show.
Yeah,
It was nice getting some of the interviews. I really like the Favreau and Filoni interview. I feel like it's always a pleasure kind of hearing from those two and getting behind their minds of how they go into creating all this stuff. But overall, I thought it was good. I think there was some filler here and there, but I think I would still watch it again.
yeah. John, your thoughts on the studio showcase?
Yeah, I just didn't realize how much of a Willow fan Joey was prior to
Yeah, I
tonight.
didn't know
Like,
this either.
like it's insane. Like he somehow managed to take time during his workday to watch the Willow trailer like 80 million times during
Yeah.
the presentation,
Yeah.
and he still was able to send emails away during the watch party. I mean, that's
man.
just
It was-
that is just a hardworking, dedicating kind of guy that Joey is. I mean, I'm impressed, Joey.
I ended up
Ah.
giving Joey the replica medal of what they get at Yavin after the Death Star's destruction at the end of A New Hope.
We do not publicly talk about that incident.
Okay, that's right. It was a reactor malfunction.
No, it
Mm.
was
Technically,
it's
it
too early to
was.
start. It's
Okay.
too early to start on the propaganda, sir. It's
It
way
is,
too early.
It is. All right, so we're all excited for Willow. That's the only takeaway here. Real quick, Andor
Willow,
is
right?
yeah. Andor is actually going to be a 2-episode premiere, and that is going to premiere August 31st. So that is
Pretty
right
soon.
around the corner, literally right around the corner. So we are going to move on here. The next big thing was we have a lot of High Republic news here, people, and I'm going to condense this as much as I can. The High Republic panel was streamed, thank God, because they did say that they were going to stream it. However, they started the stream 12 minutes after it started, so like we caught it like 12 minutes in the past. Like as they were going through it. But we have a lot coming out. So they talked about a little bit of phase one. They gave us a recap of everything that happened. Kevin Scott once again bragged about killing your favorite characters, as well
That's
as your
Kevin.
second favorite characters, and your third favorite characters, and your fourth favorite characters. So there is that. So we are moving on here. Phase two is 150 years before phase one, and we are officially in the age of exploration. So this is going to be the Republic actually expanding into the Outer Rim, and we have two Supreme Chancellors in the Republic now in this flashback era, which I think is really interesting. They were talking about how one is from the Outer Rim and he wants to focus on the core worlds, while the other one is from the core worlds and wants to focus on the Outer Rim expansion,
Yeah.
which I think is really interesting. We are also introduced to brand new teams of Jedi and Republic civilians working together. These are the Pathfinder teams, and they're going to be exploring the Outer Rim, as well as there are members of the Pathfinder teams that are also called the Communications teams, and they actually send droids from the Outer Rim planets back to the core to relay messages, because communication, like they don't have all the hyperspace comm buoys and all of that during this era. So it's really interesting. Kevin described it as the Star Wars Pony Express,
Yeah.
which I think is a great analogy for this thing. So we're introduced to that. We did get cover art for the brand new books, which are
So
all
much cover art.
beautiful, all
So
all
much.
gorgeous. We can confirm that I believe Cataclysm and Convergence and Path of Deceit are the first two. I believe they're the first two books in this, with Quest for the Hidden City next. We are also getting The Nameless Terror, which is going to be a Dark Horse miniseries, which is under the High Republic Adventures umbrella. And Kevin
Speaking
Scott,
of
huh?
speaking of the High Republic Adventures, Daniel Jose Older released some very, very beautiful concept art of
Yes,
some of the people he was
of,
making.
of these new pirates that are
drawn
going
in
to be.
drawn
Yeah,
on like crayon.
it looks
So
like a
good.
5-year-old sketch. It's beautiful.
Love it.
Then we also have Kevin Scott coming back to write the flagship Marvel series, which will also start in October. We have new novels revealed as well. The next adult novel is going to be called Cataclysm. Then we're going to get a young reader novel called The Quest for Planet X. And then we're going to get another. This is Kevin Scott's first young adult novel, which is going to be called Path of Vengeance. And then we are getting another audio drama, and this is called The Battle of Jeddah.
I'm so excited. I love
Yes.
audio dramas so much.
Also,
George
Porter.
Mann is doing so much.
Yes. Also, the Porter Engel comic series will be called The Blade. That will start in November of this year. And we also got our first look at the Art of the High Republic book, in which we get Man Bun Yoda, which is awesome. So I know I covered a lot here with the High Republic, but I just want to hear your thoughts on what is coming in Phase 2. I'll start with Luna, then I'll go with Joey, then I'll go Aubrey, then I'll go John here. Luna, your thoughts on the High Republic Phase 2?
It's no secret that I'm an enormous High Republic fan. They haven't put out anything that I love so far.
Yeah.
Every single piece of concept art, every cover that they revealed, I was like sending it to all my friends who don't care about the High Republic, and I'm like, look at this, look at how cool this is, and I could not be more excited when the art of the High Republic comes out. I'm going to be the most annoying person. I'm super, super excited. I love art books, and this is just the best case scenario for me. And I'm super excited. I love all of these authors' other work. George Mann has worked on a bunch of stuff that I've watched too. And he's doing like he's doing like 2 books and the audio drama. So he's busy.
Yeah,
I don't remember what else he's doing.
he
He's
adapted the children's books too.
right, yeah. He's doing Quest for the Hidden City, I think. Is that what one of these he's doing?
He's doing Quest for the Hidden City.
And he's also doing Battle of Jeddah, and he's doing one other thing.
He's doing Quest for Planet X, I believe.
A lot of quests for mysterious places.
Yes. Joey, your thoughts on Phase 2 news?
So as we all know, I'm a little behind in the High Republic. For those who've seen the show before, I really like it, and I want to dive more into it. I've just had a little bit of a tough time getting into the initial couple books. For me, I think the thing I like most about it is that they're doing the middle and then the beginning and then the end, similar to what we got with the Skywalker saga. I feel like that's a nice little throwback to the original way that things were kind of structured, as well as to kind of bring that into a new era as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Aubrey, your thoughts on Phase 2 news?
Yeah, I'm kind of behind on the High Republic too. I know
Shame.
I'm in the middle of the first book right now,
Oh,
but so far it's really good, and I'm
That's
really
where
excited
Joey
to see
is.
kind of where it goes. Yeah.
he's still my heart.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you guys are reading it though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the important thing. And then from what I've heard, Joey, you're enjoying Light of the Jedi a lot.
I'm enjoying it. It was a little
Yeah.
slow at the beginning for me,
Mhm.
but I'm almost through the full book at this point, and I'm curious to see. I don't know if it's just a different author style I need, or a different setting, or something like that to change things up a little bit and kind of reignite that flame.
I think once you get, go ahead.
Oh, so that was my issue too. I had like a hard time starting the book,
Yeah.
but like kind of towards the end, it's getting a lot better now.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
When I first read Light of the Jedi, I read about half of it, and then I took a break for like 2 months, and then I suddenly read like everything else in like a 3-month span.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It just like something clicked on after.
Yeah.
And I just read everything.
I think once you get to Cavan's novel, The Rising Storm, it's really going to pick up for you. because he hits the ground running with that book.
Oh yeah.
There is barely any time to catch your breath with that book because he throws so much at you with that one. John, your thoughts on Phase 2?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the second book, so I'm a little bit farther than Joey. That's all I care about. But but yeah, I mean, I'm having the same issue like everyone else on the panel was saying. Is like that first book, like to really kind of like bring me into a new era of Star Wars. And I listened to the audio version of the book. It was just as tough to listen to as what it sounds like it was to read. And don't get me wrong, like the voice actor who was narrating it was absolutely fantastic. It was very
Mark
entertaining.
Thompson.
Mark Tarson, thank you,
Mark Tarson, yeah, that's him.
Tarson, that too. Star Trek or something like that.
Star Trek.
So, but halfway through it definitely did start picking up, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about it. And I agree with Joey that I like the idea of them starting in the middle and then jumping back to the beginning. To some people it may seem weird, but it was a recipe that worked out pretty well for Star Wars. And if that continues to work, why not keep doing it, especially in a new era? So it's kind of like, for the older Star Wars fans, you have that ability to say, okay, I see what they're going for. I'm going to give it a shot kind of thing and see, okay, cool. All of our favorite characters died in Phase 1. Let's see who gets brought in Phase 2. And will they die before we end Phase 1? So, I mean, or Phase 2. So yeah, I think it's cool. I like it. I'm looking forward to diving more into the High Republic as well.
Yeah, I think we are all in agreement here. It's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, especially with this new series, with the High Republic being about a year and a half old now. And so we did get another bit of High Republic news. I am actually going to tie this in to this panel, even though it was separate from the panel. We are getting Young Jedi Adventures. This is going to be a brand new animated series that is going to premiere on Disney Plus as well as Disney Junior in the spring of 2023. This is going to be a High Republic show that is focused on a group of Padawans learning all these different valuable life lessons and learning how to be Jedi and navigate the Force as well as the Republic and everything. And they said it's going to be computer animated, but it's going to look 2D. So I'm thinking that it's probably going to be around like the way Forces of Destiny was, probably the way Galaxy of Creatures is, all of those shorts. So thoughts on Young Jedi Adventures? We're finally getting an animated High Republic series, which I think is pretty cool.
It's also the first Star Wars show that is the head writer is non-binary.
That is true. That is true. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, we are having we have a non-binary head writer, which I think is amazing for this as well. Um, we're gonna tune into this thing and give this thing a shot, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even if it is for little kids, as they say.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to finally like have a show set in the High Republic too, and see that in like visual media.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I can't wait here because it says on the official website here for Star Wars for preschoolers and early grade schoolers and their families. So I can't wait for the awesome little Padawan real life lessons like don't push little Timmy off the swing. That's a path to the dark side. And then
End up like Anakin.
First off, Anakin turned out perfect. It was, you know what? We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
We'll get to it when we go into Obi-Wan. Okay.
Very rich.
We'll get to it in a little bit.
Very rich Anakin apologism coming with somebody with that stream background.
What are you talking about? Look, we are
join the Empire.
Look. Galactic Peace is a mission that everyone can be involved in, and if you want to make sure the galaxy is safe, then there's no better way to support the safety of your loved ones than by joining the Empire and the Stormtrooper Division today.
Hey,
I mean, I do feel like you would push me off a swing, John. I feel like these are lessons you could still learn.
Push off a swing, Joey. I would push you off the top of I would push you off the top of a slide. Like,
wow, okay.
Yeah.
No, he wants to push
Hopefully
you down the slide.
Yeah,
I mean down the slide, Joey. down the slide.
Yeah, down the ladder side of the
I,
slide.
I have
Look,
I have
we don't have to say what side of the slide I'm pushing them down.
I have two thoughts on this real quick. Number one, if there is not a G.I. Joe-esque PSA at the end of each one of these episodes, I will riot. And number
we could use
two,
the same guy from the beginning of each Clone Wars episode.
yeah, Tom Kane. He is no longer voice acting actually because of his health issues. But wow, I just sucked the fun out of this party. I mean, we wish him all the best. We really do. Tom Kane, thank you for all of your years playing Admiral Yularen and Yoda and countless characters. Thank you. Aubrey, as my resident Leia cosplayer, how do you feel about this whole Empire marketing campaign that John's pushing here?
Don't agree with it.
Look, for someone who supports someone who is in the Senate, and last time I checked, Palpatine is the Senate. I feel like you just don't understand the role of Leia in this whole thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Joe.
Yeah. Why don't you mansplain it? Let's go.
No, absolutely,
Oh my god.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm getting flashbacks to my TikTok comments.
Oh god, those can probably be really bad.
Joe, you need to control him.
Yeah, Joey, put a leash on this guy. Let's go.
Look, it's all in good fun. It's Anakin did nothing wrong, but it's all in good fun. It's
Not
fine.
even one thing.
So
not
Anakin's
one
an
single thing wrong.
angel.
no, that kid is an
Anakin
angel.
was
He just
misled
happens
by the
not to like
Jedi
sand.
Order.
Yeah.
Sand is not fun. No one likes
No.
sand between their toes. It does not feel good.
No. Anyway, so that was the High Republic panel. And all of the fun news from that. Let's move on here. Oh, wait, I've got two more things here.
Good God.
We have Starlight Stories, which is a collection of short stories from Star Wars Insider that is going to
Yes.
be released this fall as well, which I'm really excited to read those because I heard all 5 High Republic writers wrote short stories for that. And then we are actually getting an in-universe guide to the High Republic as well. It's called Chronicles of the Jedi, an illustrated guide to the galaxy's golden age, and it will release this fall
I
as
didn't
well.
know about that. I
So
didn't know about that.
yes, that was during the Del Rey panel, I believe.
Huh.
That was
Awesome.
on Thursday. Okay, so let's move on here. How many of us have played Lego Star Wars? Show of hands. Okay, so John is the only one that hasn't played Lego Star Wars. And that's
I am now taking donations to buy the game. You can,
Okay.
my
Maybe Disney will
Venmo
send it.
is
I'll start a GoFundMe for you. Anyway, we got a Lego Star Wars panel that happened yesterday, I believe, and it's talking about the Summer of Lego Star Wars, in which we got some pretty cool reveals. They revealed some new sets from Andor, but there are two big things that they revealed during this panel. Number one, we are getting everybody's favorite little droid that stole our hearts with Jedi Fallen Order. We're getting a BD1 Lego set. This releases August 1st. You can actually pre-order it from the Lego store. You can pre-order it on Amazon right now. It is $99. Yes, so it's going to retail for about $100. It's about like a foot and a half tall. Like this is actually like an accurate height for BD1. Fully posable, and also comes with the little stim packs that you can get in Jedi Fallen Order as well. So
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
really,
pretty good.
really
Yeah,
cool.
that's-
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
Do they
so
have real needles?
I wish.
You gotta buy those separately.
Yeah.
With real green mystery liquid in there?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but it's like tiny, tiny little Lego bricks.
Oh,
That's the mystery.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah. And then we found out that they are doing another Lego Star Wars special. This is Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. So we've had the holiday special, we've had the Terrifying Tales, and now we're getting Summer Vacation. So the holiday special focused on Ray. Terrifying Tales featured Poe. Summer Vacation is about Finn, which is really, really fun. And that hits August 5th, in which they have a poster out now. I'm not going to screen share it because it's just you need to see it for yourself. It's really funny. But it has a beach ball on it that may or may not be the Death Star. So, um, thoughts on Lego Star Wars and this being the summer of Lego? I'm going to go with John, then I'm going to go with Luna, then Aubrey, then Joey.
BD1 will be mine. That is my second favorite droid.
What's your first favorite?
Really?
I don't know.
K2SO.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, man.
Like that is the most sarcastic droid I have ever seen in my life. I love everything about that droid.
Wow, you must have really liked Fallen Order then. A lot of KX security droids in that one too.
It hurt to kill them. But it
Spoiler
had to be
alert.
done.
Spoiler alert from a game
Spoiler
from
alert.
2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the BD1 Lego set looks absolutely amazing. I'm looking at it right now. I am pre-ordering it as we speak.
Nice.
And
As we
I fully plan on ordering or building this and prominently displaying it with my other awesome looking Lego helmets up there. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Nice. Luna. Well, actually, real quick, John, your thoughts on the special as well.
Yeah. The Lego specials are always interesting because they bring that small comedic element to it, which is kind of cool. It's the same thing like the Star Wars Lego games do as well. I mean, eventually, when I get around to playing the most recent release, I'll experience that for myself. But usually they're pretty good. They're all in good fun. They kind of make fun of some of our favorite characters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just find it funny that it's about summer vacation and it comes at the end of summer vacation. But other than that, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it.
It's just teasing
Nice.
everybody under 17.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, go ahead and look forward to this when your summer vacation is coming to an end. Like, okay, that's great.
See you
that's
9
fun.
month loser.
Especially you year-round schoolers.
Ugh, the worst.
Luna, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I loved Skywalker Saga. I gotta actually finish that game someday. Loved it. I love all of the Lego games that I've played. Loved all the Lego specials that I've watched. It's always a treat to see people, taking this more comedic element to Star Wars, which I think really works because it is a very silly setting when you get down to the brass tacks. And I've always been of the opinion that it's not Star Wars if it's not a little bit cheesy. This just sort of cranks up the cheese a lot, and I'm personally a huge fan of that, so I'm super excited for everything Lego Star Wars.
Nice, nice. Aubrey, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy BD1. I need
Mhm.
Lego to stop taking all my money.
Right?
I know I need to find more room. My room is just covered. But yeah, I'm excited for the show is it a show or a movie?
It's gonna be like an hour-long special like they did for Terrifying Tales.
Those are always funny too. But yeah, I'm excited.
Nice. Joey, bring us home on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge BD1 fan. I played through Fallen Order. I 100%ed the game, going through every one of filling out the maps for BD1 as well. I feel like we're home dogs at this point, me and the little bot. So I probably will look at picking up that set as well.
Nice.
Will
Thoughts
you,
on the
though?
special?
I think I will. I think this is one of the few that I actually might pick up. I'm just a huge video game person. So just me and that robot, we connected all of those maps, all of those little data scans you had to do to get the 100%. I just feel like we spent plenty of time together and we can do it here in real life too.
Nice. And your thoughts on the special?
Yeah, the special's good. Like John said, I really like the humor it brings to it. I think Luna was hitting on that as well. The Lego versions kind of have a way of bringing those, I'm going to say, deeper moments into kind of a funny light. And it's nice to kind of see some humor added into those moments alongside what we know is those heavier moments as well. So it's a nice little blend to kind of bring to new fans.
Yeah, I agree with this panel on this. I will say this. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga has some of the funniest moments in
Yeah.
any video game. The Padme decoy gets me every time.
Yeah,
I love that so
this
much.
one is a decoy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm Amidala. I love that, and I love the high ground joke in Revenge of the Sith as well.
Just the ladder.
Yeah, it's just a ladder. It's great. Um, yeah, it's great. Lego
I
can do no wrong. I can't really say this, but I really want to pre-order this droid. However, I
yeah.
gotta save money for some stuff.
My
Yeah.
I think the top tier, my favorite joke in Skywalker Saga is like it just really speaks. This is a testament to how funny the games are. Is that I think the funniest scene is the one where Qui-Gon dies.
Oh, and he keeps
With
slapping Obi-Wan in the face.
Yeah. No, and like with Darth Maul like being in two pieces,
Yes.
and like hopping forward is just ahead.
Yeah,
and then he
with
gets
the
kicked through the
lightsaber in the mouth.
yeah, and he
Yeah,
gets
it's great.
kicked through the random basketball hoop. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, like
Such a good bit.
Obi-Wan just drop kicks him. It's amazing. It's so funny. So yes, Lego and Star Wars go hand in hand. It's, I cannot picture Star Wars without Lego now, especially like with how much fun that they have. Um, let's see here. We have one more show to talk about real quick. This is a brand new show from John Watts that will also be produced by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. It's called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It is going to star Jude Law, so we're getting sexy Dumbledore back. But he's going to be in Star Wars. And this is about a group of young kids or a group of kids from a tiny planet that is just trying to make it home. So I'm thinking that we're going to get Lost in Space Star Wars style here. Aubrey, you seem kind of excited about this. Let me know what you think here.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see Jude Law in Star Wars.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be more of a family show, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Joey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Aubrey was saying, I think that's kind of about the same line I'm thinking on this one as well. Just excited to see Jude Law jump into a new role in this setting.
Yes, Luna, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I don't know too much about this yet, but I love Jude Law, so this is going to be a treat, I'm sure. And
Yes.
John Watts, of course, great stuff. Like I'm on board.
John Watts did the last 3 Spider-Man movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so
I'm fully on board.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
I have a feeling it'll have his humor in it, definitely.
Yeah.
Real quick before I get to John, I also should mention this is going to be set in the New Republic time period, so right around the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett as well. So, John, bring us home on this one.
Sexy Dumbledore. Looking forward to it. Star Wars. Let's do it.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here. We're excited for this one. Jude Law is one of the best actors of his generation, and it's incredible to see him in Star Wars. Like, I did not see that coming at all. So let's move on here. Jazzwares announces Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron toy line. This is pretty much Micro Machines are coming back. How are we feeling about this, folks?
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Oh no.
No idea.
Well, you guys remember Micro Machines, right?
Yeah,
Honest
Never
yeah.
heard of that in my life.
No.
I do remember.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
been a while.
So Micro
It's
Machines.
been a hot minute.
That's fine. So Micro Machines in the late 90s and the early 2000s had a license with Star Wars, and they produced a Star Wars line of tiny little figures and tiny little vehicles that you can play with. Micro Machines were kind of like the really, really miniature Hot Wheels and really, really miniature Matchbox. But then in the mid 2010s, when The Force Awakens came out, Micro Machines made a comeback, and they actually ended up doing more sets for like The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. But then like it kind of fell off and by the wayside. So it looks like Micro Machines are making a comeback. They are releasing some like battle pack figures that'll have like clones like on clone walkers and stuff, like those little mini walkers that they run around in. They've got speeder bikes, they've got all sorts of stuff. They have TIE fighters, X-wings, and then the Peace Day Resistance is actually a Millennium Falcon that comes with Han, Chewie, Obi-Wan, and Leia, and it actually lights up and makes sounds as you're playing with this thing. So it's really really cool. Um, so we'll move on from that. I got excited. I'm sorry. Let's see here. We just heard Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and other Mandalorian characters are going to be visiting Galaxy's Edge, and that actually started today with
Mm.
the Mandalorian and Grogu are going to be heading to Galaxy's Edge soon. This is actually only going to be at Disneyland, from what we've been hearing. So I don't think that this is confirmed for Disney World yet. Thoughts on this? Anybody?
I'm just sad they're not going to be at Disney World.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of hoping they bring it.
I think they will eventually. I think they want to see how Disneyland goes first before they do it. Anybody else thoughts on this?
Put it in Disney World.
Yeah. Joey?
Yeah, I think they're probably just trialing it overall. But yeah, I like the idea. I think it's a nice way to change things out here and there, and it should be a fun way for them to kind of rotate cast as they go.
But here's the question that I have here, because Galaxy's Edge takes place in between 8 and 9.
Mm.
So we're in the sequel trilogy era here. Is this going to detract from what's established, or is this just going to be a welcome distraction?
I don't know if
I'm
I'd
going to go
call
the
it a
welcome distraction
I don't know if
route.
I'd call it a distraction though. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like part of the issue is that if it wasn't for the fact that you have characters from the sequel trilogy there, if you were
Yeah.
just to put a casual Star Wars fan there and say, "Hey, what does this look like to you from Star Wars?" Everyone's going to say Tatooine from 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
The Millennium Falcon being there is obviously iconic. You know, you can even fly the Millennium Falcon. You can build a lightsaber. That's all cool and everything too. But like, I don't know. To me, what I would like to see is, I get that it's there to kind of promote the sequel trilogy and help bring younger fans deeper into the Star Wars universe, while still kind of being familiar enough for the older fans that grew up with 4, 5, and 6, and then our generation that grew up with 1, 2, and 3, to still feel welcome going to Galaxy's Edge. But part of me feels like maybe they need to do like theming, where it's like, you know, for 2 months out of the year, it's like the original trilogy theming, and they have characters from the original trilogy. Then you have, you know, the prequel trilogy for 2 months. You know, make it something like that, and put it on a rotating basis a little bit. I mean, you don't have to necessarily change out all the ships and everything to have it 100% identical to that era that you're having there. But it's just a different way to keep it feeling fresh and making people want to come back to experience those different eras in Galaxy's Edge.
I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly here. It is one of those things, because especially with the TIE echelon that's right there in the First Order section of the park, you could easily make that a Imperial TIE echelon, or you could make that a Sith TIE echelon or a Separatist TIE echelon, if you do the prequel trilogy era as well. Any other thoughts on this, or are we good here? Aubrey, I know that you had some thoughts. Maybe?
Uh, no, I just hope it goes to Disney World so I can see Din. That's
There
literally
you
the
go.
only reason.
I mean, and the way they've done the animatronics at Disneyland and Disney World, you can easily do a really good Grogu
Oh, yeah.
animatronic. for that as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I actually love that idea of them doing like different eras for like a couple
Mhm.
of months. So we have two more things to get to here. Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, is coming to Nintendo Switch. Thoughts on this?
I love Old Republic stuff. And
Yeah.
for those who've listened to the show before and heard me on, I am a big fan of a lot of the storylines from Revan to everything else kind of going on in the Old Republic. I'm hoping we eventually get some other adaptations outside of the games as well. With that being said, they're old games, they're classics. The controls are a little iffy if
Yeah.
you go back to them, but I do like the idea of it being ported to a new system. Now, Nintendo fans who I think it's everywhere else but Nintendo, if I remember correctly at this point. So Nintendo fans, kind of the ones left out, as opposed to other console players, can now finally get their hands on it as well.
Yeah. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's going to the Switch. You know, like Joey was saying, it's older games coming there. It's easier to port. Sometimes maybe the coding a little weird, but I think it's great overall. Kind of brings new life to these games for a new generation of portable console players. So yeah, I think it's great. And then with the remakes of Knights of the Old Republic coming out, I think that's going to help build anticipation for that when it finally does release. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but in the current climate when it comes to game development, I don't hold my breath anymore.
Should be 2023 for that one, I believe.
We'll find
The
out.
This should
old
be a safe call.
the Old Republic
Yeah,
remake.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Legos
Yeah,
and
I
Skywalker
believe
Saga is
so.
coming out in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Lego game was that was beyond
But
craziness.
you know what?
I think I delayed 4 times.
Despite its glitches, the Skywalker Saga is pretty solid.
Yeah, I do
that's all
like it
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
say.
I do like it a lot.
Um, Luna, your thoughts on Knights of the Old Republic 2 coming to Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I'll keep it real with you. I haven't really engaged with the Old Republic
dare you.
that much. I know.
Ooh.
I know. I've played a bit of the MMO KOTOR.
Nice. Mhm.
I tried to play. I have Knights of the Old Republic on the Switch. I tried to get into it. I really could not figure out the controls, so I'm more or less just waiting for that remake to come out.
Mhm. Yeah, I understand. Controls are not for everybody, especially
Yeah.
for that game. They're very wonky. Um,
I
New
really
ones are
just
going to be much better.
Yeah.
They completely retooled them from what I've seen, so it should be a fun
yeah. So
time.
I am excited for that, but just not as excited as everybody else.
all right. Aubrey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually haven't really gotten into the Old Republic either. But I think it'll be interesting, and I'm excited that it'll be like portable too. And I think it'll be good for like a lot of new people will be able to kind of get into the Old Republic.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. All right, I lied. There's two more things. One of them is something that I know Joey is dying to talk about. Um, but before we get to that last one, we have Tales of the Jedi. This is going to be an animated anthology series of shorts produced by Dave Filoni. It's actually going to be in the same animation style as Clone Wars and The Bad Batch. And this
So
is
excited.
going to be a prequel era story. And so far, we have confirmed 6 episodes, 3 about young Ahsoka and 3 about young Count Dooku, in which young Qui-Gon is going to be featured in the Count Dooku episodes.
Played
In
by
fact,
Liam Neeson's son.
yes, it's going to be Liam Neeson's son, with Liam Neeson coming back to do the Qui-Gon voiceovers in the episode as well. So
I think they
Yep.
played the first episode at Celebration just
They
like a little
did.
bit
Did
ago.
they?
yeah, they did.
And
I hope
some
someone
of the
recorded it.
some of the concept art suggests that we're gonna see in animation one of the bits from the Ahsoka novel when she fights eighth brother or
Ooh.
sixth brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw something too about like Padme's funeral.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Padme's
don't-
funeral's in it.
Ahsoka.
Matt Lanter's back. Yaddle's
yeah.
in it.
Yaddle.
Yes, Yaddle.
So excited for this.
Yeah. All right. Share your thoughts real quick. Joey and John, I will be right back.
I guess that's turned over to us. Yeah, I don't know, John. Do you have any other thoughts? I feel like a lot of what I'm kind of thinking has been hit.
More Jedi propaganda being thrusted into the
God.
universe. Just who would have thought? Come
Does
on!
anyone else? Does
I play a
anyone else
certain
have
role
thoughts?
here. No, I like personally, I think it's gonna be cool. Count Dooku's story, I think, is he plays a big enough role in the sequel trilogy, pardon me, the prequel trilogies. And I feel like people would be definitely interested in that part. I mean, obviously, Ahsoka's Ahsoka. Everyone's gonna be like
Yeah.
head over heels with Ahsoka. But with Count Dooku, like obviously we know,
Guilty.
he was a Jedi who fell to the dark side also during training. So while people might complain that's a trope that's overdone, people fall to the dark side in this series for different reasons, and I'm very, very interested in learning more about Count Dooku's path, if you will, to the dark side.
If it's anything like Dooku Jedi Lost, I'm super excited.
Yeah,
because that was a great read or audiobook, whatever.
Eric's back. Quick, everyone say something nice.
Yeah,
Hi,
sorry.
hi, Eric.
Sorry, the cat decided to get into some shenanigans and or goings on. So yeah, I think we're excited about this.
Oh yeah.
And last but not least, Cal Kestis and BD1 are coming back in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is going to release in 2023, and it's going to take place 5 years after the events of Fallen Order.
Okay, I've got like a year to get a PS5. Let's go.
Yeah, same.
Yes, this will actually be exclusive to next generation consoles. So this will not be on PS4, Xbox One.
I get it, but I'm still mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've got a year. Let's go.
thoughts on this teaser trailer?
It was
yeah.
It was
Go ahead.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just generally gonna say it's great. I mean, loved seeing Cal Kestis. We had a mysterious figure in the Bacta tank. Looked sort of like Terran Malicos, but I think it's somebody else. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Looked really good though.
Yeah. Aubrey, your thoughts?
Yeah, it looked amazing. I'm just excited to play it if I can get my hands on a PS5.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling it might be coming to Game Pass at some point anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll with EA Play at some point for sure.
Yeah. John, your thoughts?
I think it looks great, and I'd like to yield the rest of my time to my good friend, the Xbox shill, who will 100% this game as well. Joey, all yours.
Yeah, I am excited to 100% this. I'll give you guys a little bit of a Starlight Beacon Transmissions exclusive too.
Oh.
They didn't announce the release date, but the release date currently being targeted is late February, early March 2023.
Just in
wow.
time for my birthday.
Yeah,
You
so
don't
that's
have a
what
lot
they're
of time to secure that
currently
next gen.
scheduled.
It'll be right
So-
after my birthday, so just go all in on that PS5.
Yeah, it should be spicy. Again, anything can be delayed, but currently that is what they're targeting, that February, March timeframe right after Dead Space.
Well,
So I'm stoked. I think it'll be fun. It looks a lot darker than the original for those that played that.
that's what they've
I've
said.
heard there's going to be a number of different worlds or planets per se. They're going to try to explore some, I mean, without giving anything away, explore worlds that we've seen in other mediums but haven't really experienced in a video game yet. So
Hell
trying
yeah.
to kind of bring them to life in a new setting, I think is going to be kind of cool. And it does take place during the same time as the Kenobi series. So that's another fun little tie-in teaser.
Nice. Yes, Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. This is going to be. This is my most anticipated game of 2023 outside of
for sure.
Starfield.
Easily my
Yes,
most anticipated.
Outside of Starfield, this is my most anticipated game. Super excited for this one. I love Cal Kestis. He's my second favorite Jedi outside of Qui-Gon, and I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see more. Like seriously, can't wait to see more from this. And I love the Utapawan as the Imperial Senator. I think that's pretty cool too. So
It sort of implies that we're either going to see Utapau or Coruscant in the game, which would both be cool.
yeah, I would love to see Cal, like especially like in the underworld levels of Coruscant. I think that would be really neat.
I also think Utapau is an underutilized setting, so I really hope we see that too.
Yes,
I really
it
like
is.
I really like how Utapau looks. The big sinkholes and stuff with the city built into the side. That I think that's awesome.
Yes. All right. I think we've had enough celebration for now. It's time to move on to our main event. Let's talk Obi-Wan
An hour
Kenobi.
in.
Hey, it's always an hour in.
Yeah.
Who's like an hour, and let's get to the main topic. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So let's talk about this. This is going to be a spoiler discussion for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen it yet,
If you
Shame
haven't
on
been on
you.
Twitter for the last
yeah.
Oh my
like
god.
48 hours.
All I'm gonna say is this. So we're gonna do what we normally do. We're gonna have our spoiler-free thoughts, and then I'll give one more spoiler warning, and then we're gonna get into it. So I'm gonna start with John on this one. Then I'm gonna go with Luna. Then I'm gonna go Joey. Then I'm gonna go Aubrey here. John, your spoiler-free thoughts on Kenobi.
So obviously, as a massive fan of the prequel trilogy, this was the series I've wanted to see. The Book of Boba Fett, while I thought it was good overall, did have a lot of issues with it, so it made me a little hesitant, a little anxious, if you will, with the launch of Kenobi. But I will give Disney props that they did release enough information of who was going to be involved in it. The teasers, the trailers were great. So going into it, I felt a lot better. After watching the first 2 episodes, I can safely say the only thing I'm pissed off about is that I have to wait till Wednesday for episode 3 to
Yeah.
come out. So that's
high
that's
praise
it.
coming from you, not having much to be upset about.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I loved every single minute of it. It has the ability to be rewatched over and 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 over. So
And I
yeah,
have.
I think it's great. And I cannot wait to actually talk about the episodes, spoiler, and everything involved. Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Well, Luna, you watched these twice over the last day or so. Um,
3 times.
or 3 times. Well, once with us last night
Yeah.
for our watch party. Luna, your thoughts on Obi-Wan?
I
Spoiler
mean,
free.
there's it's really hard to say anything without getting into spoilers other than it was fantastic and stupidly good. And I'm so upset we're gonna have to wait like a week until the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
it's easily become like instantly one of my favorite Disney Plus shows ever. Probably my favorite Disney Plus show ever, honestly. Um I haven't anticipated the next episode this much since what was it? Probably since like the Mandalorian season 2 finale.
Yeah, that was yeah.
So I'm super super excited. Deborah Chow is killing it, and yeah, I'd give her more Star Wars. Absolutely.
No, yeah. Joey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say much more than I'm just super excited without going into spoilers. But I feel like overall, this is a great setting to continue to explore. They've done a really good job, really fitting the TV shows kind of into the space between the movies to kind of connect things a little bit more. And I feel like this is another good example of that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Aubrey, your spoiler free thoughts?
Yeah, it was just amazing and like everything I was hoping that it was.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree here. It's some of the best television I have watched in a very, very long time. It's written so well. It's directed really well. It's acted. Ewan McGregor hasn't skipped a beat as Obi-Wan, and it's fantastic. It's so good. And if these first 2 episodes are any indication, we are in for one hell of a ride for the rest of this series. This is not getting a second season. They said that this is 6 episodes and that's it, which I think is perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to be the perfect amount to tell this story. All right, this is your final spoiler warning. If you have not watched it, stop what you're doing and watch it, and then pick up this later on tonight or tomorrow or whenever. All right. Let's get down to this. Holy crap. This show starts off with a bang, literally with a bang. We see Coruscant and we see some younglings training, which I love this sequence of the younglings training. I think it's absolutely beautiful and fantastic. Then all hell breaks loose when the clones come in and start shooting up the place with Order 66. Uh, let's just say this Jedi Knight was pretty badass.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I was really disappointed when she died. I'm like, oh
I
yeah, she's
know.
awesome.
Yeah. She
Awesome choreography.
she
Mhm.
she wrecks some shop. Yeah, in her, let's say, 30 seconds of fame.
Yeah, ugh, I love green
Yeah.
lightsabers too, so I'm like,
Mhm.
I was double invested in that.
Yeah.
I saw a theory that like one of the younglings was Reva
Mhm.
That's
too.
that. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah. I
I'll
would
get into that more later.
Yeah, I think once we get to her introduction, we can explore that definitely. Anybody else have thoughts on the beginning of the show, especially with the with the Order 66 going down?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to pick up at. I feel like episode 3, while it did a great job of showing the devastation of Order 66 to the Jedi around the galaxy, really outside of Anakin scene inside the Jedi Temple, that's really
Mhm.
all we saw of that destruction. We got a little tidbit here and there. Jedi Fallen Order had some stuff in it. Obviously, Bad Batch had some stuff in it with Order 66 as well. But I feel like that was such a major moment in the Star Wars universe that I feel like it's never a bad idea if you come back to this era of Star Wars to start right there and just remind people of that impact and how it threw the entire galaxy upside down and into a black hole essentially, and
Yeah.
just really changed the outcome of everything going forward.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think that um because it's so peaceful at the beginning with the younglings learning like the different force techniques and everything, and then it literally it is all hell breaking loose, and like it's what you said, John. Like it turns everything upside down, and it really shows that in such a great and unique way. Joey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what the rest of the group has been stating, I think it's not a fun way, but an interesting way to kind of dive in there and really show in that moment how other people were seeing it. Because we've seen it from other perspectives from Jedi in the prequels before, but to actually dive in and to see it from like especially a youngling perspective and at the Jedi Temple itself, it kind of brings even more perspective to the overall situation.
Yeah, and kudos to Deborah Chow who shot this thing and directed this thing. It's gorgeous. It's shot so well.
Yeah,
Then we yeah
Mhm.
I just wanted to say that the transition from the steady pan out while they're training to the sudden shaky cam long shot as the
yeah
clones bust in is like such a good way to capture the confusion.
hmm
It really sold me that they were caught by surprise. There was no fighting
yeah,
back.
and it feels very claustrophobic too.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
that
Lots of
scene feels
hallways, the bridge.
Yeah.
yeah, that scene feels very claustrophobic with when it's happening.
But
Uh,
then, like at the end of that shot, though, when the Padawans are trying to escape, and the camera pans out, and you can see just how large that temple was, and then two, how it was just completely overtaken, and there's literally nothing anybody could have done. That shot right there, uh, I feel like really kind of like showed just how helpless everyone in the temple at that time
Mhm.
really was. It was, obviously we saw the shots of the army marching in with Anakin back in episode 3. Um, but it's one thing to see it, everyone marching in formation. It's another thing to see how they just completely dominated that fight from the start in that wide shot. And that just kind of really hit home again what era we're currently going into in Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, 100% agree there. So let's move on here. We flash forward and we get Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and he is working as a meat butcher. I guess you could say. This looks like a decomposing Purrgil on the
or
sands.
something like that.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
something like a Purrgil. And we're shown the um how mundane his life has become, where he does this job and he clocks out using a gonk droid, which I think is fantastic, by the way. And gets his credits and then takes the train ride home and then um, finds his EOP and then takes that back to his base of operations here. And we are shown Obi-Wan's living in a cave and living this life of solitude. And he doesn't really have a lot of contact with people. But we meet a interesting Jawa named Tika, who decides to sabotage Obi-Wan's moisture vaporator and then try to sell him back his parts
Successfully.
It's a
successfully,
good business tactic.
Yeah.
It's good.
which I thought was great. But the thing that drove this scene home is Obi-Wan getting the T-16 Skyhopper that Luke eventually has in A New Hope. And I got to tell you, I started tearing up when I saw that T-16 Skyhopper because it just
Good stuff.
it just really
Yeah.
just drives home A New Hope like even further with
Mhm.
like how much Obi-Wan did care for Luke.
Yeah.
And how Luke is like that nephew. If Anakin's Obi-Wan's brother, Luke is the nephew essentially. And Obi-Wan has to look after him. Thoughts on the interaction between Obi-Wan and Tika?
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
it.
thought
It was
good.
adorable.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And
I always like seeing Jawas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Luna. I said last night. Every time I see a Jawa now, I just think of Pelimoto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dating a Jawa, but that's for another time here. Then we have Obi-Wan going to check on Luke, and he waits until nightfall to deliver the T-16 Skyhopper to the Lars homestead. We see Luke pretending to pod race on top of the homestead hovel, which I think is such a brilliant callback to Anakin
Mhm.
Skywalker. And I think it is such a unique sequence here. Obi-Wan tries to play Santa, which actually Obi-Wan is canonically Santa according to the Life Day Treasury. Obi-Wan is droid Santa, I should say, here. So, and then we go back to Obi-Wan cutting back to the desert here, and he's going to the desert, and we see a Jedi on the run from the Inquisitors, and this is right before that we get the introduction to the Inquisitors and Riva, and let's just say the Grand Inquisitor has one of the best monologues of all time in that cantina scene,
Really good.
Mhm.
and Riva is a friggin' hothead.
I love Reva so much.
Yeah.
She's so cool. She's so intimidating. I didn't think she'd be so
Mhm.
intimidating when I first saw the trailers.
Yeah.
I thought she
Yeah.
was going to be sort of more subdued and off to the side and just sort of following orders. Like that she's a loose cannon.
Yeah,
She's
she plays.
Yeah. Yeah,
really
go
good
ahead,
actress.
Aubrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say she plays her character really well. Like you're almost kind of scared behind the screen,
I was scared for Owen.
intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared for Owen, even though I know he's fine. I was
Yeah,
like,
I'm
oh
like,
my
what if Owen dies? And I
yeah,
remember New
right.
Hope. I'm like,
I was like, oh my gosh, don't hurt Owen.
He can't die just yet.
Not yet.
He's got to wait
soon, but not
10
yet.
more years before he gets barbecued to a crisp.
Damn.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert
alert.
for A
For a
New Hope from
45-year-old movie.
1977.
Just in case you haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
Because you haven't
Spoiler.
dusted off your laser disc to watch.
Yeah.
You know.
45-year-old movie. So then we're introduced to this one Jedi who is on the run, and for a little bit there I was thinking he was one of the younglings from flashback in the beginning. But the more I think about it, the more I think that that is going to be Riva's story. That flashback in the beginning here. This Jedi is then hunted, and he is actually killed by the Inquisitors. And the Inquisitors, Riva is, they're looking for more Jedi, but Riva is looking for Kenobi here on Tatooine. And this is right before we get to Riva hunting for Kenobi. Uh, we see Ben and Owen have the confrontation, where Ben gives Obi-Wan back the T-16 Skyhopper that he gave Luke, and they start this argument, and Obi-Wan says when the time comes he must be trained, and Owen says, like
Owen
you trained
proceeds to
his
kill him
father.
on the spot.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Owen pretty much sends him to the burn unit.
There was no need for that.
No. But Owen protects Ben
Yeah.
from the Inquisitors, so there is that mutual respect there. However, Owen just wants to be a farmer. He just wants to be
Yeah.
left alone, and he wants Luke to have a normal childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on the confrontation?
It
I-
reminded.
Sorry.
No,
I
it's
get
okay,
it
you go
because
first.
like he's trying to protect Luke, but at the same time it like hurts me to see like Obi-Wan so like sad
Yeah.
and distraught over it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
It reminds me of that scene. I think it was from the Journal of Ben Kenobi or something. It was one of those
Mhm.
comics, and where Owen says, "You've killed enough Skywalkers" or something, and it's like woof.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that.
Joey, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what I expected, I guess, just knowing the other side of it and kind of how that relationship goes. But also, I would expect some standoff there. Obviously, everyone's trying to avoid Jedi at this time. It feels like they're being hunted. They don't want to be involved. There's people dying because of it. So I definitely see where it's coming from, even with there being some more relationship being involved there as well.
Yeah. John, go ahead.
I guess I mean, I agree with what everyone has said so far, but I guess one of the things I found really kind of interesting around that conversation was, you know, that other Jedi that was on Tatooine came to Obi-Wan for help, and Obi-Wan said, "Bury your lightsaber in the sand, lay low, live a normal life. It's over, it's done, we lost." But then we fast forward to this conversation with Owen, and it's, oh, he needs to be trained as a Jedi. But at the same time, it's like, you just told someone to lay low who was a Jedi, but now you want to train a Jedi. Now, is that in response to the only other Jedi on the planet being killed? Is that just, you think that you need to uphold your promise to Qui-Gon, saying, well, I failed Anakin, I'm not going to fail Anakin's son, kind of thing. I don't know. It was very interesting, that shift with Obi-Wan going from, oh, you're a Jedi, just lay low, bury your lightsaber, and live a normal life, to, oh, I want to train Luke in the ways of the Force, and make sure that he becomes a Jedi, and who knows what happens from there. It was kind of an interesting moment.
Yeah, I agree here. And during this time, Riva is hunting for Kenobi, and Owen doesn't really reveal any information on Kenobi, but Riva decides to dismember somebody, which I think is really interesting.
You know what? Just kind of rude.
It was only a hand, though, which is canonically correct for Star Wars.
Yeah, it is canonically correct for Star Wars. You are correct. If it's not a hand, it's a head. You know,
Either or. Take your pick.
either
Or some legs.
Or
Just
some
But can we
legs.
talk about this noise that happened after the hand was cut off? No crying, no whining, just pure, okay, I guess it's cauterized and we're good to go.
Yeah.
I think she's more in shock than anything.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought too. I thought she's just sort of.
Yeah. I want to get to the subplot for this show, because this was the best kept secret in Star Wars. We have a Leia subplot in this episode. Actually, in these first two episodes, we see Alderaan, which is gorgeous, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. And we are introduced to a young Leia who happens to be a prankster, um, and happens to love to just, you know, be that rebellious person that we see in the original trilogy and even in the sequel trilogy. And uh, I have to say, the casting for young Leia is perfect.
Mm.
Um, she has the perfect amount of sass, and I love her subplot. I absolutely love her subplot. We are also introduced to Leia's mother, which we don't really see outside of that 1 second blip in Revenge of the Sith. And we get more Bail Organa, which I think is great as well. Thoughts on the Leia subplot, everybody?
I think it just kind of adds so much more to A New Hope when she's telling like that she needs Obi-Wan's help.
Yes.
It really, yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense why she trusts him so much now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 And then why she named her son Ben too. I feel like it really adds to all those like elements and stuff.
Yeah. Um, Joey?
So I have been seeing a lot of hate for young Leia on social media, and I'm just not about that life. Like you said, Eric, I think she was perfectly cast. I think
Mhm.
the amount of sass in her script is another thing I've seen kind of criticized. I think it's perfect. I think it
Yeah.
fits what we see in Leia in the later episodes as well. So for me, I think she's been a great light to the show. She's really given us more plot point because I wasn't really sure where we were going to go with the plot initially.
Yeah.
And I think she's really added on to it. It also brings a whole nother meaning of being trained by Qui-Gon Jinn and, in a sense, Liam Neeson. I mean, he did that movie Taken. We see a little bit of that kind of going on
Yeah.
here as well. So it's interesting. I personally think she is phenomenal. Really happy with that casting.
Yeah, I agree. John, thoughts?
In this house, in this podcast, we stand Vivian Blair. She is awesome. 100% agree. Princess Leia has that swag about her. She has that
Yes.
attitude that brings so much personality to the Star Wars universe. It's such a perfect character. I hate to break it to people, but people who are kind of like that sarcastic, mouthy, kind of pushing the boundaries as adults usually tend to be that way as a child also. It doesn't just happen
Yeah.
like you flip a switch one day. It's like you turn 13, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a complete sarcastic little punk. No, it doesn't work that way. So I think it's perfect. I think it's the right amount of sass, the right amount of prankster,
Yeah.
the right amount of personality, not just to complement the Princess Leia character, but also her own mother, who we got to see some bit of that fun side as well.
Yeah.
I mean, let's all remember here, Padme, for what is it? It was episode 1 where she was, she had the body double
Yeah.
playing her, and she was So I mean, we see that first off the bat here with young Leia
Mhm.
pranking her mother there. I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Being outdoors, being one with nature, and not having a problem running away into the forest. We see a lot of older Princess Leia kind of doing the same thing, especially in the sequel trilogy, not having an issue being outdoors. A lot of the rebel bases were based outdoors. You can see how she was comfortable being a leader, how she kind of took charge of those situations even as a child. So yeah, I think Vivian did a fantastic job. If people want to hate on a 9-year-old on social media, in the wise words of Eric and multiple people throughout the universe, go outside and touch grass.
Yeah.
Get a life,
Yeah.
because she's doing a fantastic job, and there's a reason why she was casted and you weren't.
Yeah.
So shut your
Yeah,
damn
I
mouth and
mean,
enjoy the show.
No, seriously. T-Span says boomers.
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 Yeah.
Boomers.
Boomer
But
moment.
but I will say this, like, the perfect Leia moment is when she shuts her cousin down
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
at the
Yep.
That was
party.
So good.
fantastic.
And like that, I was like, that's my Princess Leia right
Yes.
there, because she doesn't hit him. She doesn't go after him in any other way except
You
for,
should have.
I mean, she should have, and I kind of wanted her to hit him, but at the same time, I was like, she went after him with her words, and she nails it perfectly. Um, so now her subplot is she gets kidnapped, and this is in order to draw Kenobi out to the Inquisitors. When she's kidnapped, we actually meet Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's who
Which
he
is
is in
epic.
universe too.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And then we're actually introduced to the first live action Faline character.
Yeah.
Um,
Random
uh,
kidnapper
yeah,
too.
random kidnapper number 2, yeah, or number 3, depending on who you count. I will say this: the bodyguards that search for Leia, the one that gets shot goes down really, really easy. Like he doesn't even put up a fight. That's like my one gripe about that whole thing. Like,
He Alderaan, they've got like no weapons.
well, they're a peaceful people. It's a peaceful
Yeah.
planet. But but this subplot does continue on, and we now know what the whole point is
Honestly,
here.
I mean, that
it's
whole
just
chase
like
scene in general was kind of sketchy, to be honest.
it's just like
Yeah.
Alderaan to go down without a fight.
Yes, I didn't have to be the one to do it. Let's go.
You two are rubbing
Let's
off on
go,
each other.
Luna. Let's go. That's what I'm talking
Oh.
about.
Meanwhile, Aubrey's
It's just
I'm
like
never
somebody from
coming on this show
Alderaan
again.
just gets shot.
Too
Aubrey's
soon,
like,
too soon.
Aubrey's like, I'll take
It
my
was-
Princess Leia
It was
cosplay and leave.
77.
It was 45 years ago. It's too soon.
It's the wound's still healing.
Yeah. But
You never put the pieces back together.
we do get this. Eventually, this leads to two interactions between Obi-Wan and Bail Organa here, and the first one is via holo transmission, which I got to tell you that is a brilliant scene, and I think it's acted
Mhm.
beautifully. But the one where Bail actually shows up in the cave, I think is perfect, and we see Obi-Wan really like trying to struggle here, and he says like, the boy is important, but then Bail says she's just as important as the boy.
Yeah. I liked that line a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My one
And
gripe is that they didn't say you're our only hope.
yeah,
Oh, that would have been so good.
Oh,
my
that would have been
wife
so good.
my wife was saying that too. She was like, I really wish he had just said you're our only hope. Just to drive that home. Um, but I think it's brilliant. And here we get um I haven't even talked about Obi-Wan Kenobi's PTSD yet, because he gets, like, especially when he's sleeping, he gets nightmares and flashbacks of Anakin and everything. But the thing that really drives home where Obi-Wan is at this point in the game is when he uncovers the box that has his lightsaber and Anakin's lightsaber. And I saw somebody on social media actually point this out, and it goes back to the line in Attack of the Clones where Obi-Wan points his lightsaber, or points Anakin's lightsaber at Anakin and says, "This weapon is your life."
Yeah.
And so he buries, since he doesn't have Anakin there to bury, he buries that lightsaber in the ground, and then Obi-Wan essentially lays down his life and buries it as well with his lightsaber, which I thought was just a brilliant, absolutely a brilliant analogy for that. Um, then we get Obi-Wan hopping on a transport and going to the planet Dino, or Dinah,
Daimo.
Daimo. And this is where the fun begins. To quote Anakin Skywalker,
To quote Hayden at Celebration, he said that.
Yeah.
that crowd went wild, by the way.
I know, right?
Okay. Anybody want to take over on the recap here? No? All right. We are introduced to one of my favorite new canon characters,
Yes.
Haja Estri.
Haja Estri,
I'm Haja
Jedi.
Estri, Jedi. The perfect con artist, casted perfectly with Kumail Nanjiani. And I gotta tell you, his interactions with Ben are fantastic. And he pretty much swindles him the way that Haja swindles the family before him. Haja uses magnets to force grab everything and to use the force. I think it's so funny. Here we get Obi-Wan getting information on where Leia would be held, and he goes into pretty much the Breaking Bad meth lab.
Leia, we have to cook.
Yeah, Leia, we have to cook. He is the one that knocks. In which we are introduced. I believe this is the first live-action Zabrak that we have too.
No, there were a few in The Mandalorian, I think. In the scene where there's the two Gamorreans fighting in the arena.
Oh,
in
yeah.
season 2. I think there
But
was a few Zabraks in the background there.
Here we get Obi-Wan taking down two dudes,
And
just
we've seen
using
Ian
martial
Koth as well.
arts.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan then punches the dude and then ends up getting cut because of all
That
the
was-
spikes.
That was so reminiscent of him trying to kick General Grievous.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. And then Obi-Wan ends up taking these guys down and ends up getting trapped by the kidnappers, but uses the spice. He gets spice from this spice trader that wants to make him forget, who's played by Ewan's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Obi-Wan eventually encounters Leia and Lola, the droid. I forgot to mention Lola, which this droid is Hasbro's releasing a Lola that actually moves and makes sounds and lights
Available
up.
for pre-order.
There's so
Yes,
much
it
great
is
stuff in
available
this.
for pre-order.
There's so much great stuff in this. We keep forgetting stuff.
Oh, I know. I'm just like trying to hit like the greatest hits right now.
Yeah.
There's a rooftop chase in which Leia's trying to get away from Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan is now wanted by multiple bounty hunters and everything. The Reva pretty much John Wick's Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Got John Wick.
And then Obi-Wan has to eventually use the Force to save Leia from falling to her death, which I was like, oh, that would have been great if Leia had just hit the ground at the beginning of this. And Haja comes back to help out Obi-Wan and Leia by telling them to get on this cargo transport and gives them a key to access it. And I think this is John's favorite scene with Obi-Wan hiding from the Inquisitor and Reva just playing mind games on Obi-Wan and just telling him, you don't know, but Anakin Skywalker is still alive.
Sort of that was sort of part of my theory with Reva. And this isn't like my theory. Like I got this from Twitter. I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. But the theory that I subscribe to currently is that Reva is one of the 5 younglings we see in the beginning scene.
Yeah.
And she knows that Anakin is Darth Vader because she sees Anakin bodying people when she escapes.
T-Spans, that was a Gonk droid. That was a Gonk droid doing the time cards. Gonk.
Now, with
Gonk.
that scene, what I thought, so I'm a massive fan of intense situations like that, where it comes like in TV shows and in movies, where it doesn't take action for you to feel that intense pressure, that kind of direness in that moment. Where, I mean, it just goes also to show you how powerful words can be. Something as simple as saying, hey, I know you know who Anakin is. I mean, and also, I mean, the Inquisitor group tends to be Force sensitive people who trained as Jedi that were turned to the dark side. So, if her character is a Force trained Jedi and she was the youngling, she would have known who Obi-Wan and Anakin were at that point in time. So with her turning to the dark side, she knows that secret that Anakin is Darth Vader, and she's going to use that to her advantage to try to force Obi-Wan to make a rash decision, helping her catch him. I mean, he already made the rash decision to go after Leia after she was kidnapped. Now here he is on a planet, pretty new to him. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. And now all of a sudden, he's moments away from being captured. Then he discovers that this guy, this young Padawan that he trained into a Jedi Knight, who turned to the dark side and completely helped demolish the Jedi Order, he thought was dead, is now still alive. And all that PTSD moments that we saw with him when he was sleeping, that is his worst nightmare come true.
Mhm.
And while that scene was great, it was the scene after that that got me absolutely out of my freaking mind. I'm pretty sure I threw myself off the couch when it happened.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, it was so good.
We're about to get there.
That's why I didn't say it, and
Yeah.
I'm ready. That's why my background is black currently.
Yeah.
I am ready for this moment.
So right before this moment, that we're about to talk about, the Grand Inquisitor confronts Riva and pretty much says, "Hey, you got to stop like going behind my back, and you got to stop being insubordinate." Riva decides to then stab the Grand Inquisitor.
He's fine.
Which, yeah, he's got to be okay,
Like,
because
especially
he's
with
gotta
what
be
we're
in Star
hearing.
Wars Rebels.
Especially with what we're
Yeah.
hearing about the Ahsoka show, there's no way they decanonized anything from Rebels.
Yeah,
Like,
It's a
he's
mere flesh
fine.
wound.
It's tis but a scratch.
yeah, exactly. It's nothing some back that won't heal.
Yeah, just toss him in the back to.
Yeah, toss him in Boba Fett's back to tank.
Yeah, as soon as Darth Vader's done with it, just throw him in there.
Yeah. But then it's this one scene, Obi-Wan escapes and he gets on the cargo transport. And while they're in space, Obi-Wan, you hear like that high-pitched noise, like Obi-Wan's tuned everything out, and you hear Leia's muffled voice asking if he's okay, and you just hear Obi-Wan breathing and just like staring, and he's kind of shaking a little bit, and then he realizes, holy crap, Anakin's alive, and at that moment we cut to the back to tank, and Anakin Skywalker opens his eyes while he's in the back. Oh yeah, right there, man, right there. It's such an amazing scene, and
Yikes.
I mean, it's such a great way to end that episode, because Obi-Wan, it reminds me of when Ahsoka realizes that Anakin is still alive too, and is Vader in Rebels. Like it just reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And oh man, so
Ewan's
good.
amazing. Like you could see it on his face too, like the moment he realized.
Mm.
Like
The acting in this show is off
Yeah.
the charts. Like, I can't wait to see Hayden acting. I want to see if he's very OG Hayden in this, or if he's developed his craft a bit. I don't know. I really just want to see how he is.
I think Hayden's gonna surprise us.
I think
Yeah.
too. I very much
I'm
think he's gonna. Oh, I'm so excited. Why does it have to be like a week?
Yeah.
So it's not this Wednesday. It's next
No,
Wednesday.
it's this Wednesday.
It's this
upcoming
Yeah,
episode
this
three.
Wednesday.
So it's not
Yeah.
even a week then. Okay, no, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, I can handle that. I can handle
But
that.
with that in mind, that's also the halfway mark of the series.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
So
It
like
is.
it's exciting, but at the same time, it's like you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
We're already
right?
halfway
Right.
done.
Already halfway
I'm
over.
so glad Andor is like 24 episodes. Like, I
Yeah.
can't handle all these short series.
Right?
Exactly. But it's like I said in the beginning. You only need 6 episodes to tell this story,
Mhm.
if you're telling it right. And right now they're telling it right.
Yeah.
Like they're laser focused here. Before we wrap things up tonight, because we still have a few minutes here. There's one scene that I want to talk about real quick. And I want to get your theories on this person that Obi-Wan mentions. Him and Leia are talking, and Obi-Wan mentions that Leia reminds him of a person from his past, a strong leader. Now, a lot of people are thinking that he's talking about Padme, I'm going to throw this theory out here. He's talking about Satine.
While I think it could be swung either way, I do think he's probably talking about Padme because it's his mom. And also, he said, I also think one of the main reasons I think it's Padme is because he said, "I'm sorry too." Like he's apologizing to Leia because he thinks he got her mom killed.
No, I get that. But my thing is,
I think it was ambiguous on purpose.
yeah, but my thing is like, especially with the episodes of the Clone Wars that they told you to watch before the show, they're the Satine heavy episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to hear thoughts. I mean, I know Luna thinks it's Padme. Aubrey?
I do feel like it's Padme just because, again, he apologized at the end because I think he kind of feels a bit responsible. So I'm leaning more towards the Padme side.
Okay.
I think it's ambiguous on purpose, but I do
Yeah.
think that it's Padme.
Okay. Joey?
Yeah, I agree pretty much with what Luna was saying. I do think there is some ambiguity there for sure, but in the end, the sorry kind of leans it more toward Padme, and I think that's just how they're establishing that Leia connection as well.
Yeah, I get it. John?
Yeah, I think it's Padme also. I think they're trying to make that connection. That obviously Luke has tendencies of his father Anakin, and Leia also with Padme, and I think that's just kind of more of like a foreshadow than anything. But yeah, I agree. They kind of left it open ended on purpose.
Yeah.
And if they come out and say, "Hey, watch these episodes," then obviously it's there to throw. It might be there to throw people off in the wrong direction, but at the same time, like she fits that category as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I do think it is Padme.
Yeah, I agree. So I have a feeling. We got to get to a couple of things here. I have a feeling we're gonna get Clone Wars Anakin flashbacks with this show, with new footage of Hayden as Clone Wars Anakin.
We do?
I think we are.
I remember them kind of hinting towards it.
Yeah.
I really hope.
I don't know.
Because he said now granted Vader has a lightsaber, but Hayden said like he did a lot of saber training for this show.
And I know he said he watched those shows too, like Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And Rebels and stuff.
So I'm so happy that Hayden is like a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that everybody's like come around on him. Like 10 years ago, nobody would have cheered when he said, "This is where the fun begins."
Yeah.
Like they would like that's the sort of line that everyone's like, "Oh, they're so cheesy, such bad dialogue." But now people are like coming around to it, and I think that must feel really nice for Hayden, who's endured all of this horrible like criticism for the last 20 years.
I think there was something interesting that was said with an interview with Hayden and Ewan, was that the prequel trilogy was made for a generation just before social media became the prominent way of communicating, getting information. I mean, we're talking just years before Facebook was open from college students only to high school students, to then eventually to everyone. If those movies came out in the age of social media, honestly, look, and this isn't just Star Wars fans that have this issue. It's really any fan base of any kind of content made pre-social media. Is you get your information from generally a handful of people. If those handful of people have a negative review of something, then most likely you're going to side with whatever you're being surrounded with, and that's being negative. Where in the world of social media, you can kind of maybe get a little bit more of a fairer shot. Like if you think that actor or the actress or the acting in the movie was good, you can find people of like-mindedness on social media to try to get other people's views. Also to try to say, hey, am I really the only one that thinks this was a good acting job by Hayden? Then also over the years, we've gotten more content that's come out. So especially from George Lucas, talking about, hey, look, everyone says like his acting was odd. That's what I wanted him to do. I told him to be like that. I specifically wrote this script for Anakin to be this kind of awkward kid that comes from a junkyard into pod racing into now he's being told he's the savior of the galaxy.
Right.
That's a lot on a kid, and that's going to make the kid a little awkward.
Yeah, everybody
used
used
that
to
kind of pressure on him.
Everybody used to clown on the I don't like sand bit, and it is funny. But like that's just some awkward, socially inept 19-year-old trying to flirt.
Yeah.
Like,
and the whole thing is that
I've said way more cringe stuff trying to flirt with
to
people.
sit here and blame that on the actor for doing what the director, the writer, the mind of this series told him to do, I think is absolutely insane. And as a kid, when the prequels came out, I absolutely loved Anakin. Anakin is still my all-time favorite character. I think Hayden did an absolutely fantastic job. And I was definitely ostracized as a kid for having that opinion, and I just didn't care.
I was lucky enough that there were like 4 kids in my class who really liked the prequels in 5th grade. And everybody was like, "Oh, you guys are dumb," but we had each other at least, you know. But so there are people trying to pretend that never happened, that the prequel hate never existed. That's complete crap.
But I'm so glad he's finally getting the recognition and the honor from the community he deserves for bringing such a pivotal character to life in episodes 1 through 3 and now in the Kenobi series. When I found out he was coming back for Kenobi, automatically, no matter what came out, I was giving this series a shot because Hayden was back as Anakin / Darth Vader, and it brought it back for me.
Yeah. I actually want to stay on this prequel thing real quick. And I have to I'm gonna completely ducktail on what you're saying here with the prequel trilogy. Aubrey, you grew up with the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, you grew up with the prequels. John, you grew up with the prequels. I grew up with the prequels. Luna, I know like you and Aubrey are a little bit younger than we are.
But the Revenge of the Sith came out when I was 5.
But yeah, like but you you grew up with the prequels.
I grew up with the prequels.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm not trying to. Oh well, there's the there's Luna. Yeah,
there we
go. Yeah, wouldn't be a live show with Luna without that. But my whole point is, it's really amazing to see all of the love that the prequels are getting. But you're right, John. Like in that, like in the age of social media, it's everybody's a critic. Like everybody is a critic here. And I know like, we claim we're part of the Star Wars podcasting media here and everything, which I feel that we are, but everybody that has a social media account now has their own soapbox, and it's interesting to see like all of the people, like you said, that hated on the prequels. And I know a lot of people that hated on the prequels that are now like, oh, the prequels are amazing. They're so good. And it's like, yeah, where were you 20 years ago?
That's what really
when
gets
Hayden...
me. People are like denying that the prequel hate train ever happened.
Yeah.
And it's like that's complete crap.
Yeah, it was
bad.
Really bad.
Well, let me put
Yeah.
it this way.
Bad.
I was living in South Korea when episode 1 came out.
You lived in South Korea?
I actually grew up in South Korea.
How am I just now learning this?
Surprise. So I was living in South Korea when episode 1 came out, and I remember being absolutely just enamored with the fact that pod racing was a thing.
Absolutely.
And being able to see that on the screen, like for me, I'm not a big racing fan. I've recently gotten into F1. It's taken to this point in my life for me to even consider racing as something that is worth my time. But pod racing, I thought was absolutely fantastic. And I fell in love with the idea of pod racing. I fell in love with the idea of learning of Anakin's origin story and seeing an Obi-Wan Kenobi during his training, going up against Darth Maul, and just kind of seeing all of this play out in episode 1, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I remember leaving the theater, talking to my parents, going like, I remember I looked at my dad and I was like, wow, now I fully understand what it felt like when you saw Star Wars. I'm like, this was amazing. And then immediately other people, well, that was a crappy movie. I couldn't believe they did that. I'm just going like, wait, everyone coming out of the theater was just like, oh, this wasn't good. Yeah, there are some people that shared the same opinion as me, but me being a kid, like I was just hyper focused on it. But like, it's insane to sit here now and try to retcon the history of this fandom, where people are like, now it's socially acceptable to like episodes 1 through 3 17 plus years later, but then it wasn't cool because it wasn't the popular opinion. You could not like it, but now that it's aged like fine wine, now you can be excited, happy and excited about it.
Yeah.
To me, Hayden Christensen was the biggest victim of that hate, and it was unjust. Hayden played a damn good role, and I've said it once, and I'll say it before. If I ever get the chance to meet Hayden in person, I don't care how much they would charge me to meet him. That man playing Anakin during my childhood was a huge, major impact on how I view Star Wars to this present day. So like, it just blows my mind that people try to completely ignore the hate. Like, let's admit the hate was there. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you were wrong. That, as you grew up, as you aged up a little bit, your brain got a little bit smarter, a little less smooth, a little more wrinkles in your brain.
A little less smooth.
And you realize that Hayden did a fantastic job playing this character that we all know and love.
Yeah, I will also say this. Another one of the big victims of this, and we're going to wrap things up here in a minute. Ahmed Best was another victim here, especially for Jar Jar. I know he wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but I will say this now. Looking back on the prequel trilogy, and especially like with Clone Wars, Jar Jar Binks is such an underrated character. And Clone Wars really redeems him from being that slapsticky character. Now, granted, when I saw the Phantom Menace when I was a kid, I freaking loved Jar Jar because I was like, this guy's funny as hell. Like, I love all the jokes. Like when he numbs his tongue on the power coupling, love it. Absolutely love it, and I die every time. Still,
I like when
to this
Qui-Gon
day.
catches his tongue.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Still to this day, I absolutely love it. Ahmad Best should not have been threatened and bullied the way that he was. And I will say this, Jake Lloyd, regardless of his problems now, should not have been bullied the way he was for his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker. There, I and I agree, Hayden should not have been bullied. Natalie, all of these people should not have been bullied for their portrayals of these characters.
And it's like we don't even learn, because then we have the same thing that happened with like all these characters from the sequels, and we have like even now people are bullying Leia's actress.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it pisses me off.
Well, and that's the thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say is like, there's a difference between watching a movie and saying, one of the things I loved about the prequel trilogy was how political it was, how there was that mental aspect to that movie, whereas like you had to be strategic in how you influence the Senate and other leaders to kind of get to your end goal as Palpatine. Like, to me, that was what I found very interesting about 1, 2, and 3. That wasn't there in 4, 5, and 6, and nor did I expect it to be there in 4, 5, and 6, or 7, 8, and 9. Each trilogy played a certain role telling a certain story. Now, while, I'm not a massive fan of the sequel trilogy, I can still respect it. I think the actors and actresses did a fantastic job. They played a great role in closing out the Skywalker saga. Yeah, it was a little bit messy, but also we have to remember how many different directors were there trying to tell the story.
Yeah.
That is a big issue as well. But overall, I don't feel like it did a disservice to Star Wars. It just was opening up a new chapter of Star Wars, telling it's hard to wrap up something that's been around since the 70s, it's very hard to try to find out what that next step is going to be in 7, 8, and 9. And while, yes, there were some scenes and some stories that were told in that sequel trilogy that I am not a fan of, I still respect the actors and actresses who did it, because at the end of the day, it's not their job. I never had an issue with the acting. But, obviously, I think hate of any sort when it comes to people who put themselves out there like this, when they're in Hollywood, when they're filming themselves, for our entertainment. That's the thing, is nothing's going to satisfy 100% of the world's population.
No.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely love 7, 8, 9 the way you loved 4, 5, and 6, or 1, 2, and 3. You don't have to, but there's no reason for death threats. There's no reason for bullying people online. Like, if you want to be that keyboard warrior or keyboard bully because you feel safe behind your computer screen, fine, whatever. But just realize something, that, again, like we saw in Kenobi in episode 2, words have power. Whether it's in a dialogue between an Inquisitor, Inquisitor.
One of those
Inquisitor, thank you.
One of those
I think it's time
inquisitive.
for bed,
One of those
John.
yeah, right.
Yikes.
And Kenobi, where those words were able to strike fear in Kenobi's heart.
Yeah.
Same thing online is when you tweet out and you start tagging people on there and you start tagging these actors and actresses on there, they're going to see it. And that is what you intend to do when you do that, is you want them to see that. That's unacceptable. You can have your opinion, be respectful about it. If it's not your cup of tea, guess what? You don't have to keep sipping from it. Move on.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And
There's enough content in Star Wars for everyone.
And I will say this, the hate that you see for the prequel or for the sequel trilogy, that's going to turn into love in about the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it the next 15 years, and they're going to be like, oh well, we love the sequel trilogy, it's amazing, and whatever. The sequel trilogy is going to. I personally, I have a few issues with the sequel trilogy. I do think it is a bit messy here and there. But I will say this, I enjoyed them. I still love those movies. I think that they're great movies. They're Star Wars movies, and they're fun. And
I'm just
that
like-
to me is what's important. Here's the thing. The sequel trilogy is only going to get better because they're working on expanded material for the sequel trilogy.
It's like just like how the Clone Wars gave all this extra
Exactly.
content, all this context for the prequel trilogy, and
Yeah.
all these books and all these novelizations.
Mm-hmm. It started with Resistance for the sequel trilogy. It started with Resistance. It's continued with Galaxy's Edge. It's continued with a couple of books here and there with
The
Resistance
Mandalorians
Reborn.
leading into it.
And the Mandalorian's definitely leading into it, and so is Ahsoka. Like, you're starting to see the groundwork for the sequel trilogy with that show as well. So, all I'm going to say here is give it time, and the sequels will have the love. My only point here is, and I think all of our points here are, just be better. We can be better as fans. We can definitely be better. And I think that what we need to do is we need to stop being so overly critical of things, and stop being so toxic, and stop being bullies. Like, I get it. You can be critical without being toxic, and you can be critical without being a bully. Just be like, yeah, I didn't like that performance, but I still like this actor, or what have you. So that's all I'm going to say here. Kenobi is like the most perfectly acted Disney Plus Star Wars show that we've gotten. I will say. Actually, I think it's the most perfectly acted Disney Plus show that we've gotten.
I'm not
period.
going to say that until Obi-Wan teaches me how to ride a bantha.
Yeah.
I will say this:
That's
like
fair.
a bantha is still one of my favorite things to ever.
Yeah,
come
no,
out
I'm
of
not
Star
even.
Wars.
Unironically, I love that. Also, it's hard for me to say that when The Mandalorian exists and Pedro Pascal's acting is just
Pedro-
off the charts.
He's
Pedro
amazing.
Pascal's acting is incredible too. But
Yeah.
I will say this. Actually, I should correct that phrase. I will say Star Wars on Disney Plus has given us some of the best acting
Yeah,
out there.
there you go.
Because Tamora Morrison is fantastic as Boba Fett too. Which we didn't even talk about the clone that they brought him back for.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that was
Oh my god,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, which they didn't even give him a name. Somebody actually asked him at Celebration during a photo op, like if that clone got a name, and he said they never gave him a name.
He seemed to be in the 501st because he had blue
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna
markings.
say, yeah.
But I love that. So
Yeah, good stuff.
it's all tying together, and it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Like I said, no show next week as we have Awesome Con, but we will be back the following week with another panel talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Kenobi. But you'll be able to see our reactions on Wednesday. Follow all of us on social media because we're gonna be tweeting the hell out of this show and tweeting our reactions to this show. Um, I just want to thank everybody once again for joining me tonight. Aubrey, thank you once again. You're always welcome back as usual.
Thanks for
Luna,
having me.
oh, you're welcome. Luna, welcome back. Like,
Yeah, it's been a
seriously.
minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I've been so busy.
Yeah, I totally get it. Welcome back. Joey, welcome back. It seemed like all I was seeing you was once a month for the RPG show. I mean, we would talk and everything, but
Glad to be back, Eric. Thanks for
yeah,
having me.
absolutely. And John, thank you for coming back. I know you're definitely going to be with me for most of these reviews.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I know Aubrey, you're going to try to be with me for most of these reviews
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Joey, if you want to come
I'll
back
be
for,
here and there
yeah.
depending on the schedule. But yeah, thank you for keeping the invitation open.
Oh, not a problem. And Luna, I know that you're probably going to be here for most of the reviews as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll see how this apartment thing shakes out.
yes. Real quick, we are probably going to, after this show wraps up, we're probably going to get the Bad Batch, and then we will probably get Andor after that. If we do not get the Bad Batch in between Kenobi and Andor,
I'll cry.
I'll cry too, but there's still a lot of content that we're going to be
Yeah,
going
yeah.
over. There's still a lot of news that we're going to be going over. And we're going to be starting a book club soon too. And I think we're going to start things off with Shadow of the Sith in June.
Ooh.
At the end of June. And then I think the next one we'll have is The Princess and the Scoundrel, which is the Leia and Han romance novel.
The fact that exists makes me so happy.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, real quick, one last thing. Star Wars, read starwars.com/honeymoon contest. You can win a trip for 2 to the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Better believe I did that.
It is the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, 3 nights at a Disney hotel. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. 3 nights at a Disney hotel. Then you get 2-day tickets to Disney with a park hopper option. You get a $100 Disney gift card. Your airfare is included. Transportation from the airport to your Disney hotel is included. And you get a signed hardcover copy of The Princess and the Scoundrel and the audiobook download for the book as well. All of that is in this package for you to win. I signed up. My wife signed up. Now, your voyages would be in December, and the contest ends August 19th. So you have until August 19th to enter this contest, but it's great. It's a perfect chance. I know it's a long shot for all of us that are entering to win this thing, but if you do, guess what? You get a free $6,000 experience on the Star Cruiser.
And then when you add in like the park tickets and everything else and the flights, it's close to like 12,000.
Yeah, it's close to like 12 grand.
That's what it kind of feels like, right?
Yeah, depending
It's
on
more
what
money than I've seen.
hotel, and then depending on what hotel they put you up at in Disney World too.
Hopefully
for
the
3
Polynesian.
nights. Oh yeah, it better be a monorail hotel.
I better have the little house on the lake at the Polynesian.
Yeah, my wife was like, it's probably like All Star Movies or All Star Music or like one of those cheap ones.
It's the brand new state of the art Days in at Disney.
Yeah,
Just like that.
probably.
You could a little tent site at the wilderness.
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. You get it's actually the Holiday Inn at Disney Springs. But I just wanted to throw that out there. So enter that contest if you are interested. That's it for us. We love you guys. We hope that you have a wonderful week. We will see you in 2 weeks for the recap for episodes 3 and 4. Join the Empire, as John says. May you always fight for light in life. May the Force always be with you. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic.